On the end of each of these words we've got the ER, so we've got temper, proper. You can give it a schwat sound, but you've got to remember to write ER. Partner, weather, slither, contender, cucumber, slippers, bathers and desert. So we've got the ER in the middle of that word. Okay, so temper, proper, they're quite easy. Partner, you've got the AR, R control vowel. Now weather, in here, if you say weather, you can hear the H after that W and you can feel the air when you say it if you hold your hand over your mouth. Now there are two other weathers too. This weather means a young male sheep, and this weather means the type of climate or what the day is, whether it's raining or sunny or whatever. Slither means to slide. It's got the TH in the middle there. Contender, no tricks. Q, you've got a long U sound there, so you're going to cut it. Come is a short vowel sound, so we're closing it with the M. Slippers, we've got a short vowel, so we're doubling the P. Bathers, A, you've got that long A sound there. And desert, you're going to split it there for that short vowel. Now, the other thing with desert, that actually says desert, and this one says desert. So just be careful of those two. It can be quite tricky. Now, what does temper mean? Temper is when you lose control of your emotions and you get angry. Proper means to do something the correct way. A partner means another person that you might be working with or you are with. We've talked about these weathers. This weather means which thing. Slither means to slide. A contender is a participant in a competition. A cucumber is a green skin food often eaten in a salad. A slipper is a type of footwear that we wear before or after we go to bed to help keep our feet warm. Bathers is a costume that we may wear or clothing that we may wear to the beach or to the pool when we're going swimming. And a desert is a very open plain where there's not much plant growth, and it's usually quite hot during the day and can be quite cold at night. In these words we've got the ER ending it's a bit of a schwat sound, but you have to know to write ER. So we've got temper, proper, partner, weather, slither, contender, cucumber, slippers, bathers, desert. So the ER we tend to see it sound out is usually a schwat sound, which is a bit of a grunt sound. Temper, proper, partner. But if you say it correctly, it makes the spelling a lot easier. Now down here you have to fill in the sentences with the missing list word. That's quite easy. And then down here you have to choose the correct word. So we've got bathers and bathers. So one is relating to the person, someone who bathes or swims. This is a costume or the suit that someone would wear when they are swimming. Weather is referring to the conditions of the day. This weather means you can't decide whether to have something or not. It's a decision on which one you will have. This one is desert, meaning a dry, hot place during the day and probably cold at night. And this is a dessert, which you have when you go out for dinner, or if you're lucky, you may have one at home after your main meal. So it's got the double S in it. Down here, what does it mean? To lose one's temper means, and to be prim and proper, what does that mean? In these words, we've got them all ending with ER, which should be pronounced but we tend to give it a schwat ending, which is a grunt sound or an up sound. So rather than saying temper, we should say temper, and then the spelling would be easier. So let's say these words as we should: temper, proper, partner, weather, slither, contender, cucumber, slippers, bathers, and desert. Now fill in the gaps with a list word or extension. So you've only got 3 words to fill in there. Then you've got to write the new words and use them in sentences. So we're extending on from that base word that you've got in your list words above. So temperature, write the word on the line, and an interesting sentence on the second line. So try and use some adverbs and adjectives to add to your nouns and verbs to make that sentence or all of these sentences more interesting. Down the bottom you just have to write 3 adjectives to describe slippers and bathers. So have a think about 3 words that would best describe a pair of slippers and write them there, and rather than just saying bathers in a story or a sentence, you could use some interesting adjectives which we want you to think about and list there. Independent and dependent clauses. An independent clause is a simple sentence. It makes sense when you read it. It contains a subject and a predicate. The subject is a noun, person, place or thing, and a predicate tells us what the subject is doing, and it always includes a verb. A dependent clause is a group of words that cannot stand alone as a sentence because it does not make sense by itself. So here's an example of a dependent clause. We've given you a hint. Think of a dependent clause as a child. The child depends on the parent. It must be joined with a parent, an independent clause. So the parent represents the independent clause and the child represents the dependent clause. The parents were worried after Amy vanished is a full sentence, but after Amy vanished is a dependent clause. It doesn't make sense on its own. So down here we've got set you a task. We've got underline the dependent clause and highlight the independent clause. Now if you want to highlight both, just make them 2 different colours. So we can make the dependent clauses all one colour and the independent clauses a different colour. So you're going to have to work out if the clauses, which they are, if they're a part of a sentence that can stand alone or not, and just work your way through that story. You may work together as a group or you may have to work through independently to get that done. But there are a number of dependent clauses in it and a number of independent clauses.